I used to think the worst feeling in life was heartbreak. I was wrong. The worst feeling is doubting your own sanity because someone you trust tells you to. My name is Lena, and for a year straight, I lived in mental fog, constantly second-guessing myself, questioning my memory, apologizing for things I didn't even do, all because of one man, Daniel, my boyfriend of 4 years, the man everyone thought was perfect. But the night everything snapped was a cold Thursday in October. I was standing in our kitchen holding his shirt, the shirt that reeked of a perfume I didn't own. My hands were trembling, my chest was tight, and my brain was racing with questions I didn't want the answers to. I asked him calmly, almost whispering, "Whose perfume is this?" And he smiled. That smile, the kind that makes your stomach drop before he even speaks. "Lena, you're imagining things again. You've been stressed. You mix things up. You know how you get." He said it so softly, so confidently, like he was comforting a child. But for the first time, instead of feeling guilty, I felt cold. Something inside me cracked open. A voice that had been sleeping for a long, long time finally whispered, "You're not crazy. He's lying." That night, I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I didn't break down. I simply said, "Okay," and walked away. And that okay was the start of something he never saw coming. The quiet revenge that would shut him up forever. Before I tell you how I exposed him without raising my voice once, let me take you to where it all really began. When I met Daniel, he looked like the man every woman prayed for, soft-spoken, helpful, a gentleman with a calm smile and a stable job. He remembered birthdays, sent good morning texts, and made sure my mother got flowers on her birthday. Everyone said I won the lottery. But the truth is, he didn't love me. He loved controlling me. It started small. If I forgot something, he'd say, "Don't worry, babe, you always forget things." If I told a story, he'd interrupt with, "Are you sure that's how it happened? I think you're mixing it up." The first time he ever gaslighted me was so subtle I didn't even notice. I had put my keys on the counter, like I always do. Later, they vanished. I panicked, searching everywhere. He calmly walked into the room and said, "You really need to organize yourself. Here, let me help you." Then pulled them from a drawer I never use. My brain brushed it off. I wanted to believe he was helping. Months passed. He got more confident. Whenever I questioned something, he had the same 4 phrases. "You're imagining things. You're overthinking again. You remembered it wrong. You know how emotional you get." It worked. Slowly, he made me doubt my own mind. I stopped trusting myself. I became quieter. I apologized more. I felt like I was walking on glass. Meanwhile, to the outside world, he was a saint. My friends adored him. My coworkers said, "He's so supportive." My mother once told me, "Hold on to him. Men like him are rare." Funny thing is, she wasn't wrong. Men like him are rare. Not many people can lie with this much confidence, but gaslighters have one weakness. They underestimate the moment you stop believing them. And that moment came the day he messed with the wrong memory. It was a Saturday morning. Bright sun, blue sky. The kind of day people go for brunch and farmers markets. But inside our home, the air felt heavy. The night before, he told me he would be working late at the office. So imagine my surprise when I woke up, scrolled through my phone, and saw a tagged photo from his coworker, him, at a bar, laughing, with a woman beside him. Her hand was on his arm. I didn't even get angry, just numb. When he came home that afternoon, humming like his world was perfect, I showed him the photo. His expression didn't change for a full 2 seconds. Then he smirked. "Oh, Lena, you're misunderstanding again. That picture? It's old, from months ago." But the phone showed the timestamp. Last night at 11:42 p.m. I turned the screen toward him, and this man, This shameless, full-time liar said calmly, "That timestamp must be wrong. You know your phone glitches." My jaw literally dropped. He stepped closer, gently touching my arm like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Why are you getting worked up? You always make these things bigger than they are." I stared at him, waiting, almost begging for an ounce of honesty. But no, he kept going. "You know what? I think you're tired. You haven't been sleeping well. That's why you're seeing things that aren't there." Seeing things? A timestamp? A tagged photo? This wasn't gaslighting anymore. It was insulting. And at that moment, something inside me finally woke up. I realized he wasn't smarter than me. He wasn't stronger than me. He wasn't even good at lying. I had simply been too blind, too loving, too forgiving. But not anymore. That Saturday was the last day he ever made me doubt myself, because the next morning, I started planning. Not revenge made of anger, not shouting, not breaking things. No, my revenge was going to be quiet, calm, and absolute. The kind of revenge that leaves a man speechless. Once my mind cleared, his lies became impossible to ignore. He had patterns. He repeated mistakes. He never covered his tracks well, because he was so confident I'd never question him again. Arrogance makes people sloppy. I started collecting the pieces: the perfume on his shirt, the bar photo, the late nights, the missing credit card charges, the deleted messages, the sudden work trips that didn't appear on his company calendar. He thought he had me wrapped around his finger so tightly I wouldn't even notice. But he forgot something. I work in IT, and even if he deleted messages, I could retrieve them. I logged into our shared cloud backup. He never changed the password because he assumed I'd forget it. Pathetic. Within minutes, I had access to his photos, chats, archived files, and that's when I found it, a hidden folder titled L. I clicked it. Not pictures, not screenshots, audio recordings of me. Conversations where he purposely twisted my words, moments where he made me doubt myself. He'd been recording me, saving every argument, every confused moment, every apology I made for things I didn't do. I sat there shaking, not from fear, from clarity. He didn't just gaslight me, he documented it, like a trophy, like evidence for some future situation he wanted to manipulate. I realized he had never needed me to be crazy. He needed proof that I heard things wrong, said things wrong, remembered wrong. So if I ever left him, if I ever fought him, he could twist it all. That's when my revenge stopped being emotional. It became strategic. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to confront him. He didn't deserve my emotion. I was going to let the truth speak for itself, and he was going to watch his own lies burn him. Quietly. I knew one thing for sure. A man who depends on controlling your emotions can't handle your silence. So I gave him silence. For 3 weeks, I pretended nothing was wrong. I cooked. I laughed. I went on outings with him. But inside, I was collecting every piece of evidence. I backed up his audio files. I saved his messages. I downloaded the bar photos, the receipts, the hotel confirmations. I documented everything, calmly, quietly. Then I reached out to someone unexpected. His manager, Mrs. Whitmore. She adored me. We'd met at company dinners, and when I asked for a meeting regarding something important that may affect the workplace, she agreed instantly. In her office, I placed 3 things on the table: a printed list of dates when he claimed late-night work, his company calendar showing he had no scheduled overtime, the receipts and hotel check-ins during those exact hours. She was speechless. Then I played a 20-second clip of one audio recording, him telling me I imagined he went to a bar. Mrs. Whitmore leaned back, exhaled, and whispered, "Lena, this is serious." I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I simply said, "You asked me at the Christmas party if I ever needed help. I do now." Let me be clear. I didn't want to ruin his job. I wanted to remove his shield, the workplace reputation he hid behind. Mrs. Whitmore didn't fire him, but she did something much worse for him. She summoned him for a meeting, with me sitting beside her. He walked in, saw me, and froze. I didn't look at him. I didn't greet him. Mrs. Whitmore placed the printed evidence in front of him and said, "Daniel, we need to discuss your conduct." He turned red, then pale, then red again. When he stammered, "Lena, what is this? Why would you—" I didn't respond. And that silence? It shook him harder than any scream could. He realized I wasn't asking questions anymore. I was exposing him. Daniel tried to recover. He tried to smile. He tried to say, "Honey, you're misunderstanding." But every lie he attempted, I already had the proof printed in front of him. Mrs. Whitmore wasn't emotional. She had the professionalism of a judge delivering a sentence. "Daniel," she said calmly, "this pattern of behavior is concerning. You lied to your partner and used your job as the excuse. That puts the company in a dangerous position. We cannot have you misusing company time or misleading others using our name." He swallowed hard, eyes darting everywhere except at me. He was sweating. "Lena, can we talk? Please. Can we just go outside and—" I finally looked at him. Not with anger, not with sadness, with absolute calm. "No, Daniel, we're done talking. I just came to show you what I've known for months." He froze. I took out one final envelope, the apartment lease transfer, already signed by management. "I'm moving out today. Don't contact me again." His voice cracked. "Lelena, please. Can we work this out? You can't just—" "Oh, I can," I said. And then I slid the USB drive across the table, the one containing all his audio recordings. "This is your copy. Keep it. You recorded me without my consent. Maybe this time you'll listen to yourself carefully." He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. For a man who spent years twisting my words, he suddenly had none of his own. The meeting ended with Mrs. Whitmore placing him on unpaid leave pending a conduct review. As I walked out, he followed me into the hallway. "Lena, wait, please." I stopped, turned slightly, and said quietly, "You tried to rewrite my reality, but I wrote the ending." Then I walked out, and he didn't follow. For the first time in years, he had nothing to say. Moving out felt lighter than breathing. I boxed my things, arranged movers, blocked his number, and informed my closest friends. To my surprise, almost all of them said the same thing. "We always felt something was off with him, but you always defended him." That's what gaslighting does. It isolates you. It makes you carry shame that never belonged to you. My mother cried when I told her everything. "Why didn't you say something?" she whispered. "Because I didn't know how. Because I doubted myself. Because I thought if I tried harder, he would change. But I learned something crucial. You can't heal someone who uses your kindness as a weapon." 2 weeks later, I heard he returned to work, but his reputation was destroyed. He avoided everyone. He barely spoke. He stopped posting online. The mask he wore so proudly had shattered. And I didn't need to lift a finger. My silence had done all the work. People think revenge means screaming, breaking things, fighting. No. The strongest revenge is clarity. The moment you stop asking, stop defending, stop explaining, stop begging to be understood, you win. Gaslighters don't fear heartbreak. They fear exposure. They fear the day you finally trust your own mind more than their words. My quiet revenge didn't destroy him. It destroyed the illusion he built around himself. And that was enough. If you're listening to this and you feel like you're losing your mind around someone, stop blaming yourself. You are not too emotional. You are not imagining things. You are not confused. You're being manipulated. And the most powerful thing you can ever say isn't, "Explain yourself." It's, "I'm done." Because once a gaslighter loses access to your confusion, they lose access to you completely.